on vaccine administration has now made a new recommendation that COVID-19 vaccine to be deferred by 3 months after the recovery from the illness. Niranjan getting us more details, because Niranjan, there has been variations as far as who should be administered the vaccine with if they have recovered from COVID-19, if they have also been given the first dose. What does the new guidelines say?
Well, right now the new recommendations of the NEGVAC have been accepted by the Ministry of Health. As per the new recommendations, COVID-19 vaccination can be deferred by 3 months after recovery from the illness. And if infected with COVID after first dose, second dose needs to be deferred by 3 months after clinical recovery from COVID-19 illness. COVID-19 vaccination has now been recommended for all lactating women. Yesterday we had a special show on this as well, and many experts said that the government had to take a stand on this, and there was no guideline. So now there is guideline now that COVID-19 vaccination has been recommended for all lactating women. No screening of vaccine recipients by rapid antigen tests prior to COVID-19 vaccination. So these are some of the announcements that have been made. Once again, I'm repeating that. As per the new recommendations of NEGVAC, COVID-19 vaccination can be deferred by 3 months after recovery from the illness. If recovered with COVID after the first dose, second dose can be deferred by 3 months after clinical recovery from COVID-19. COVID-19 vaccination has been recommended for all lactating women, and no screening of vaccine recipients by rapid antigen tests prior to the COVID-19 vaccination. So that is a big update coming in.
Because there was a confusion earlier whether it was 6 months because we said that there was a little bit of ambiguity on whether it would be 6 months or 3 months or lesser. But now that the government has accepted the recommendations and they've gone on record to say that if you are infected by COVID-19, because there were many cases when a person takes the first dose and 10 tests positive for COVID-19, what happens to the second dose? How long will you have to wait? I think the official word from the government now is that you will have to wait for 3 months. You will have to wait for 3 months before you get your second dose. Either way, if you have tested positive, you will have to wait for 3 months to recover from the illness before you get your vaccination. So that's a breaking news update. And Jailal, Dr. Jailal of the IMA is joining us on the phone line. Dr. Jailal, one positive outcome of this decision also is that COVID-19 vaccination has been recommended for all lactating women. So there is clarity on that front. And there is also clarity on the second dose if you've tested positive after the first. 3 months, your response?
Yeah, definitely this is a welcome move taken by the government of India, because we were a little worried when the first statement came that after 6 months only they have to get the vaccine. Now it is very clarified. Based on the scientific study, the government has come out and said, and after the 3 months, you can take the second dose vaccine. And that is reasonably, it is a well accepted scientific data. So, we are totally agreeing to that, and that is one which is needed. But most importantly, we are so happy to get the confirmation that all the pregnant women or the lactating women can take the vaccine, because that is the need of the hour. If you look into the data of death, we have lost our own doctors. Our doctors who were pregnant, and they have lost because they couldn't take the vaccine because of the restriction we had. The lactating women, pregnant women cannot take. So now it is a big relief for the entire womankind that even when they are pregnant, except for the first 3 months, probably that every drug we would try to avoid as much as possible in the first trimester. But that they can take the vaccine, and they will, during the lactating time also, they can take the vaccine. So that is going to protect us, especially in the era where in the third wave we are expecting, and where the children are going to be affected more. And this is a welcome step, but it's taken at the right time. So this will benefit quite a lot of women in our country.
Yes. So that's good news, but 3 months. So just to get some more clarity, I'm just reading out what our reporter sent us, Dr. Jailal. Recommendations of NEGVAC accepted by the Union Ministry of Health. As per the new recommendations of NEGVAC, COVID-19 vaccination can be deferred by 3 months after recovery from the illness. If infected with COVID after your first dose, second dose can be deferred by 3 months after clinical recovery from COVID-19 illness. So So if you know someone's got the first dose on COVID app, now they will. Now how does it work? Because you know in some cases the Arogya Setu app is linked, so you know test positive and will show up as 3 months. But do you think logistically there could be some challenges, or what is your reading of this situation?
No, absolutely, there will not be any challenge because that is what now routinely even for the Covishield on the second dose, even if those who are not infected, it is after the 3 months. That is now it is accepted now. But the initial statement of the government said once you are COVID positive, only after 6 months you can take the vaccine. So that is a too long time, and being time there is every possibility they can go for the second infection. But now reducing it to 3 months and making the people eligible to get the vaccination within 3 months after they getting the infection or they are testing positive with the RT-PCR is a welcome step. And that is needed hour. Yes, it is definitely much better than waiting for 6 months. Scientifically also it is advisable to take within 3 months. And after 3 months you should take. That is as early as within 3 months or it's equal to 16 weeks, what the government has said, that we are very much welcoming that.
Okay, thank you for that, Dr. Jailal. So, Amita, I think a lot of us had questions on that because many viewers writing into us and many people, who've been asking that question on what happens to me, when can I get that vaccination after I tested positive, before the first dose or after the first dose. I think there's clarity now. There was some apprehension on whether that would be 6 months, and if it was 6 months, it's too long a period, and it's now been fixed at 3 months. So some of those questions, and like I was saying, yesterday we had a special program at 6 p.m. where a lot of viewers sent in their questions for vaccination when it comes to pregnant women, lactating women, and also young mothers. So what about them? And one of the experts had to say that there was no clarity from the center on that, and they were worried about that because you've had some actors / actresses putting out posts about vaccination as far as pregnancy goes, and there were some questions raised. So all of that has been put to rest, I think, now, and the government saying that COVID-19 vaccination has been recommended for all lactating women. So there's some clarity on that front because some states were also taking a stand on vaccinating young mothers. So I think some of those questions have been answered by this. Amita, back to you.
Absolutely, Niranjan, because we are looking at talking to many of those doctors there who have been now giving out the clarification as to what should now be done. But coming from part of the government itself actually now gives a clearer picture. Now those who have been infected with the virus or those who haven't been infected with the virus, but there is a gap of 3 months after your recovery, is that the time when you can get yourself vaccinated. Let's move on now and get you the top headlines this hour.